Sayyidina Muhammad wa ali Sayyidina Muhammad. We'll start with the answer to that question, whether non-Muslims can they, give make masjid or give donation charity to the Muslims. Now, this is a good question, and there are some Quranic verses and hadiths which are actually, for example, the hadith says, tahaddu tuhabbu, when we exchange gifts, we increase love, we increase unity, we increase respect for each other. All right. Now look at this ayah of the Quran. Um, where is this? I'll share with you. Surah Al-Mumtahana. Okay, you can see this ayah. It is Surah Al-Mumtahana, verse 8. لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين ولم يخرجوكم من دياركم أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم إن الله يحب المقسطين. Now, it is Allah does not forbid you from those who do not fight you because of religion and do not expel you from your homes, from being righteous toward them and acting justly toward them. Indeed, Allah loves those who act justly. Scholars, basing on this verse of the Quran, they say that it is permitted that we have this exchange of donations, even to the extent that if the non-Muslims are having this endowment for us making a masjid, even that is permitted. So basing on this, now when we look at the asbabun nuzul of this ayah, of this verse, it will give you a clear picture. This is about when the mother of Asma, Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu's daughter, sister of Aisha radhiyallahu ta'ala anha. So the mother was a polytheist, and she wanted to give gift to Asma, and Asma denied to receive the gift and to bring it into her house. And then she went and told this to Aisha radhiyallahu ta'ala anha, and Aisha told Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that this took place, and then this verse was revealed, that as far as they are not fighting you, not in a way putting you in a, their intention is good, it is okay. So then after that, when this verse was revealed, then she received the gift from the polytheist mother, and then she took the gift. And then when we look at other incidents where Salman Farsi, even before he became a Muslim, he gave the gift, Prophet ﷺ accepted. Even Caesar and Kisra, Caesar, sent gift to the Prophet ﷺ, he accepted. Right, so you can see, but the scholars, they also are having some, the fuqaha, when they look at this ayah and look at the Prophet's actions, they do have a type of conflicting verses. But when you see the reason of the conflict, you see the beauty is we are always only looking at one scholar, and then we look at their conflict, but we never try to see the what is the reason behind the conflict, all right? And we never try to see all the different opinion, we put it together in one place, all right? Synthesize the differing opinions in one place, then you will get a clear picture that actually all of them are the intention is good. So you will always see some scholars saying not permitted, some saying permitted. So actually the bottom line here is very clear in this verse of the Quran. um, some scholars saying that the endowment from the non-Muslims should be very clear. They should clearly state, all right, that what are the reason, because you don't want in future to have a fight that they have some hidden agenda, all right, and then later when they make the endowment, then there will be fight and call this unity, right? So the consent of the scholars is this in this case, right? So otherwise overall it is permitted, but if you want to go and see more detail, you can always refer to scholars in your place, all right? But as far as you see that that type of harmony, especially when we are staying in multi-religious community, right? So there these things does matter, and I can understand even the reason why you're asking this question, because it is happening in many places. All right. We are also supposed to open our doors, especially in the time of disaster, because to help another human being in the time of disaster, it is the teaching of Deen Ibrahim. It is the teaching of Abrahamic faith. And we all, no matter what names we call ourselves nowadays, some are known as Jews, Judaism, Christianity, we as Muslims, Islam, we are all continuing the legacy of the Deen Ibrahim. Okay, and one of the things in Deen Ibrahim was that when there is disaster, we human beings are supposed to go and help each other. Somehow Christians took this teaching, and that is the reason why if we don't look at the Red Cross aids and assistance as from a skeptical view, we see it in the very what you call pure spiritual perspective. Then they are actually in a way it is like a religious requirement for them, all right? And also for us, we should be, because when you look at all the hadiths, all the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ, helping each other, helping even a Jew neighbor, all right, Yahud neighbor, all these are part of Islam. We are, I don't know what is happening to us nowadays, that we are so broken and so disharmony, disunity in the name of religion. This is not a good excuse, because it kills the spirit of the Quran. It kills the spirit of the prophetic teaching, right? So this is a general response to that question. So now we'll go to our class, because today is the last class. But I'm a little bit sad, because we what do you call we are still there are many things which we are supposed to discuss in this class. So today I'll be like jumping, but as I promised you that we'll be sending all this. Of course, the recording will be there, but beside the recording, we want I want to actually arrange all the slides for you according to our what you call these sessions, and send it to you through Sheikh Shahran, so that you can benefit if we are not able to complete the discussion. All right. You see, our discussion here in the class is to give you a type of starter. right? A type of starter, so that you get the idea and then you continue studying on it. You start reading all these. Sheikh Shahran remind me later that also to give one page of list of readings, so that all our because I can see there are some lecturers, some students, some teachers, so that you can at least get the idea that all this we are discussing here, there are some interesting books out there beside the IIIT textbooks, which can also enhance and help you this topic, all right, the ethics and everyday fiqh. All right, so today we'll see some one or two slides on interpersonal relations in Islam. Right? What does Islam? How? What are those What are those ethics when it comes to dealing with each other? Human dealing with another human, right? So here we are talking about there are you all know this, that six are the rights of a Muslim over another Muslim, right? When you meet him, offer him salam. When he invites you to a feast, accept it. You see, now this is the problem in today's community, that everyone is saying I'm busy. So when someone's son is getting married, someone's daughter is getting married, and we invite, and they'll be saying, it's like very easy to just say, sorry, I cannot come. All right, I'm busy this weekend. I have a plan. All right. So you can see, actually, this is the haq of a Muslim, that when he invites you for walima or any ziyafa, we accept it. Right? Third, number three, when he seeks your counsel, give him. When one Muslim is seeking your counsel, advice, nasiha, mashora, right? That is his haq. We are supposed to provide it. We cannot provide it ourselves. Then at least guide him to someone who can counsel him. Right? Number four, when he sneezes and says Alhamdulillah, it is his right that we should say Yarhamukallah. May Allah be show mercy to you. All right? You can see even this. If does it make sense that if Islam is teaching us even this very small, simple thing to say Yarhamukallah is the right of another human being, another Muslim? So what about big issues, like helping each other, trying to solve conflict between two Muslims, all right? So when he falls ill, visit him, right? When he falls ill, visit him. I'adatul Muslim is very important. And the last one, when he dies, follow his funeral, follow his janaza, all right, and until he is buried, all right. So you can see, and if you see properly, this teaching of Islam, in a way, people are like very weak in today's community. A janaza only when someone very close to you, or someone only family member, then we are following the janaza. If someone falling sick, if you go to the hospital, sometimes sick people are there waiting, someone to come and see them, someone to come and say salam to them. And believe me, this is one of the best place to give da'wah, right? That because people are sad, people are don't know what to do in the hospital. And when I'm from Fiji, if you do not know, I am from Fiji Islands, right? So as I told before, I think in the first class, in our hospitals, you will always see the churches, people from the church they are always visiting everyone, and actually this is our teaching, this is Islamic teaching. Muslims, sometimes the hospital authority will come, call the masjid of us, that one Muslim died, and sometimes it happens, right? No one there to claim his body, right? So we can see because we have forgotten this basic teaching of Islam, right? So that's why we need to revive this, right? How to revive this is to talk about it. Remember, everything goes back to, please, when all our discussion here, do not forget our starting classes, right? The one which we talk about the foundation of Islamic ethics. And there was something when we talk about good and bad, we talked about Amar bil Maruf wa Nahi Anil Munkar. All this fits there under that umbrella, all right? Amar bil Maruf wa Nahi Anil Munkar. So this one also we are supposed to somehow remind people, teach in the classroom, talk to our kids, tell them creative ways to say that, make sure these 6 things are fulfilled. Okay. Um, these are the general rights. Behavior towards co-authors, co-workers. How do, when in the workplace, you have co-workers with you, right? How do we behave in a workplace? All right, so you can see here, and they have to work in collaboration with each other, cooperation, all right, in good faith for the best interest of their institution and the community as a whole. And this is Surah Al-Ma'idah. وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. All right, so this should be the spirit of us, all right, that when we are in the workplace, all right, to help one another in goodness and piety, and do not help one another in sin and aggression. So in the workplace, you will figure out that if the help is needed from another co-worker, is it the thing which he's asking you to help or cooperation needed, is it in the interest of the workplace, or it is in the interest of something which is not in the interest of the workplace? Example, I'll give you example, real example. Co-author asking you, please key in for him. He won't be able to come to office. Can you do the proxy for him? Now this is no amana. This is not ta'awanu alal birri wa taqwa. Right? So that means we as a Muslim, this should be the point of dawah for us in the workplace. If someone is asking you to cooperate in something which is not in the interest of the workplace, and also it is not in line with our Islamic teaching, this is the point of dawah. Sorry, I cannot do this. This is not good in my religion. This is unethical from the point of my religion. So sorry, I won't be able to help you in this matter. Anything else which is good, I'll be there for you, right? So you can see we can always open point of dawah. So cooperation, all right, overall, the nominal position is, normal position, we are supposed to cooperate and help, all right? Okay. Number 2, mutual respect and avoiding interference in others' personal affairs, respect their right to privacy. It is a sign of a sincere faith to avoid interfering in what does not concern you. All right. So, and even you hear that, like for example, that we always hear this from our teachers. Khairul Islamil mar'i tarkuhu ma la ya'ni. That something which do not have meaning, doesn't concern, it doesn't even concern our dunya, useless activity, right? We should avoid that. So that's why sometimes people are unnecessary busybody, poking their nose. So here, mutual respect. Number 3, to share knowledge and experience with others. This happens in the workplace a lot. You'll have one worker who is they are working for many years. Another one is a new. So the old worker is having the knowledge, the skills. The new worker doesn't know anything. So here also Islam is telling us the guideline. We should be having this spirit of sharing the knowledge and sharing the experience. It is a duty of a senior worker to pass his knowledge and experience to his juniors, right? All right. The motto of encouraging people to share knowledge and experience is made by Islam. Okay, you all know, Iqra' bismi rabbikal ladhi khalaq. And then also, even here you can see that Surah An-Nahl, Fas'alu ahla dhikri in kuntum la ta'lamun. Even Quran is asking us that when you do not know, nothing wrong to go and ask. All right, so that means this what should be our spirit of sharing, and sharing is two-way. One is wanting, who wants to share, and the other side who wants to learn. It takes two, right? We say it takes two to tango, right? So this is how this works. When we want to talk about sharing, encouraging knowledge and wisdom and experience, we need this both side. One is willing to teach, another is willing to learn. So this is what in the workplace, the co-workers, this is how they should behave. Behavior toward the superiors. Yeah, this all happens in the workplace, and this is the real world. Huh? To obey them and to observe the rule of law. Right, and here you can see, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu atiullaha wa atiur rasul wa ulil amri minkum. All right, you can see this Surah An-Nisa verse 59. That obey Allah. All right, and then the messenger and those in authority. All right, so here authority is taken in the literal sense that even in the workplace, someone who is in authority, as a Muslim, we are taught to obey who is in authority. All right, it doesn't mean now that you as a Muslim employee, and if your boss is non-Muslim, so we get the religion there and say, no, I will not listen to my supervisor. No, this doesn't work like that. This is not Islamic. This is not Islamic teaching, right? So we are misusing the Islamic verses of the Quran if we do this, right? So there is no submission in matters involving gross disobedience or displeasure. Submission is obligatory only in what is good, right? So make sure when we are dealing with a superior who is non-Muslim, so he is supervising us, he is guiding us, which is related to the workplace, but not something which is against the religion. In that case, we don't have to obey. Okay, to give them advice, all right? So so this is number two when we are dealing with the superior, all right, to give them advice. So here you can see the hadith of Imam Muslim. He's saying, An Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam qal ad-dinu nasiha. Kulna liman? Qala lillahi wa likitabihi wa lirasulihi wa li'immatil muslimina wa ammatihim. All right. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, religion is to give an honest advice. We said, for whom? He replied, for Allah, his book, and his prophet, and to Muslim leaders and public. All right. So you can see this is also, we cannot hide. We are supposed to express. Sometimes superiors might be not knowing something, so there's nothing wrong, all right, to advise, all right, the superior. There is nothing wrong in that. Okay. Behavior towards subordinates, all right. How do a superior, a boss, a supervisor, if you are a boss, you are a supervisor, how do you behave towards your subordinates? Number one, consultation, shura, and getting feedback. So we don't want, Islam doesn't encourage one-man show, right? Islam doesn't encourage that. Islam encourages shura, all right? That when you are working with your subordinates, ask them, what do you think about this? All right, I think this is a better way to do it. All right, so fa'fu anhum wastaghfir lahum washawirhum fil amr. All right, Al Imran. Okay, so pardon them and ask forgiveness for them and consult with them upon the conduct of affairs. Another verse there. Okay, walladhina istajabu li rabbihim wa qamu salata wa amruhum shura bainahum. All right, so you can see وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. and those who answer the call of their Lord and establish worship, and whose affairs are a matter of counsel, and who spend of what we have bestowed on them. So you can see these are the character of a good Muslim, all right, that whenever they want to do something, they will have this shura among themselves. They will discuss, they will consult, all right. And this is one of these, even in the family institution, in the workplace, all right, in office, we have lost this culture of consultation, counseling, shura. We feel, I feel like it is some kind of against our ego, to counsel, right? So but Islamic teaching is that we are supposed to do counseling, we are supposed to do shura before we make decision. Number two, when we are behaving towards our subordinates, to be kind and lenient with them. Right? If I am a boss, I cannot be bullying everyone. I cannot be shouting at everyone, kicking everyone, telling them I am the most powerful boss. You don't listen to me, I'll kick you out. No, that should not be the behavior of a person who is superior towards his subordinates. So here you can see Muslim, Aisha radhiyallahu anha's hadith, Imam Muslim is reporting, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam called, Allahumma man waliya min amri ummati shay'an. Right? This is a very interesting hadith. The Prophet ﷺ is saying, oh Allah, who happens to acquire some kind of control, power over the affairs of my people, and is hard upon them, all right, be hard. See, Prophet is making a type of la'na here. He is praying against this person. He's saying if he is harsh, he is trying to be hard, then he's saying, oh Allah, be hard with him. And who happens to acquire some kind of control over the affairs of my people and is kind to them, then Prophet ﷺ is saying, oh Allah, be kind to him also. Right? So you can see that a concept of rahmah, concept of mercy, right, clemency, all these are very Islamic teaching, right? Okay. Number three, to serve them honestly, lenient, to serve them honestly and sincerely. All right, the Prophet ﷺ said, a ruler who has obtained control over the affairs of the Muslims does not strive for their betterment and does not serve them sincerely shall not enter paradise with them. What do we understand from this? That when someone is in the position, or political position, or position in the workplace, that means this person's concern should be always to strive for the betterment, for the benefit of the whole team, and not to forget everyone and only concentrate on his personal interest. No, this is not a behavior of a Muslim boss or a Muslim supervisor. All right, it is not. So that you can see here, this hadith is very, Prophet even is making a type of harsh dua here, shall not enter paradise. You can see, because you see the spirit of Islam is the maslaha of the mankind, the maslaha of the environment of the man. That is the main concern of the Sharia. So even and please, when I say the word Sharia, it means all components of the Sharia. Sharia is divided into three components. Ahkamul I'tiqad, all those rulings in Islam which is related to our thought, our theology. Ahkamul Akhlaq, all those teachings which are related to akhlaq and morality, with this subject which we are discussing. And number three, ahkamul muamalat, the fiqh, right? All this combines to become Sharia. So that means when I say Sharia, it is synonym to the word Islam. Entire teaching, holistic teaching of Islam, not only mere do's and don'ts. The way sometimes people, they hear the word Sharia, they think we are talking about the Sharia courts, and the only that part of Islam, right? No, it's not like that, right? So here, that's why you can see here in this hadith, we are supposed to be, Islam wants us to be human being who cares, who takes care, and who is not selfish, right? Number four, respect for their opinions and beliefs. You see, when we are in the position of a supervisor or superior, we are boss, it doesn't mean now that I am not going to listen to anyone. We are supposed to respect their opinions who are subordinates. We are supposed to respect their belief. If they are not from Muslims, we are supposed to respect them, right? We are supposed to allow them if they want to go out for their own religious activity, for their prayers, for example. Just imagine, we Muslims, when we are working in a non-Muslim workplace, we make a big deal out of it, right? That we say, well, I need my time for Jum'ah, I need my time for my Salat, give me break, give me 10 minutes, 20 minutes extra. But what about when we switch this? When a non-Muslim is working in a Muslim workplace and they ask for their time for prayer, how do we behave towards them? You see, because you see, well, I'm coming from a multiracial, and I think since we have international audience here, many of you are coming just like myself from Fiji. You might be having this multiracial, multi-religious community, and these teachings are very important in that type of scenario. Sometimes Muslims, when they are staying in a majority Muslim society, they don't experience, because all their neighbors, everyone everywhere is Muslim. Very rare to meet a non-Muslim, right? But those who are staying in a different place where everyone is mixed, then you have to be really careful, right? So these are the teachings: respect for their opinions, their beliefs, all right? uh, okay. Allah's Messenger ﷺ said, Jibril kept impressing upon me a kind treatment towards the neighbor that I thought as if he would confer upon him the right of inheritance. You see, that the Jibril salam was always coming and telling the Prophet about the neighbor, the haqq of the neighbor, to the extent that the Prophet ﷺ was thinking that might be that if this continues, might be even the neighbor will have the haq of inheritance, the right of the state when we die, to that extent, right? So you can see this is very important. How do we behave towards neighbor? How do we behave towards our all right? This is becoming another concerning issue, for the Muslims today, right? To avoid causing them any kind of harm, right? So number two, to help and be kind to them, right? This is also the Prophet's teaching. He who believes in Allah and the last day should either utter good words or better keep silent. And he who believes in Allah and the last day should treat his neighbor with kindness. And he who believes in Allah and the last day should show hospitality to his guest. You see, these are very important teachings of interpersonal relationship with another human being, right? So you can see that the one which is bold here, he who believes in Allah and the last day should treat his neighbor with kindness. Okay, this is very important for us in today's contemporary world. We are staying in a global village, globalization. Even now, there's something is even beyond globalization. We call it globalization. All right. So all these are applying there as well. We have to be creative, right? Extending the message of the hadith from our very what do you call that, immediate life to the extended, because now we are cyber world is becoming also a neighborhood for us, right? We are staying now, I am your neighbor, because um, uh, we can be just next to each other through Zoom, through WhatsApp, through SMS. All right. So how do I treat you as a neighbor in this sense? All right. So we are supposed to be also creative, how to extend the message of the hadith, of the Quranic ayah, beyond the real space which we were staying, because COVID-19 is now making the world as a different place. That's why in Malaysia we're talking about the new normal. Huh? Okay. Surah An-Nisa is talking about neighbors. All right, verse 36. All right, worship Allah and join not any partners with Him, and do good to parents, kinsfolk, orphans, those in need, and then neighbors who are near. All right. Here, wabidil kurba wal yatama wal masakini wal jari dil kurba wal jaril junub wasahib bil jump. Subhanallah, so we can see who are near, neighbors who are strangers, the companion by your side, the wayfarer. You can see how Islam is concerned about this type of behavior, the interpersonal behavior. Right? So this is where we lose. We Muslims are losing when it comes to interpersonal ethics. All right. We have our tahajjud, we have our big tasbihs, we do our tilawa, we do all this charity, but when it comes to how to behave with another Muslim, we are in a big mess today, right? So we need to master this. Um, you can see a Sahih Muslim, he's saying whenever you prepare a broth, meat and soup, add water to it, and have in your mind the members of the household of your neighbors, and then give them out for this with courtesy. Right? And I believe many of you, this culture is still alive. Right? You see, we are supposed to create culture and thaqafa, which is actually based on our hadith. We create new cultures which are actually based in on our hadith, because sometimes some people might be not comfortable if you go and say our prophet is saying this, but if you can interpret that hadith into a culture and then you present that culture, then that is more acceptable, more appealing. And that's what it means when we are talking about in Amal bil Maruf wa Nahi Anil Munkar, when we are saying the Quran is talking about what do you call this, bil hikmah, doing the dawah bil hikmah. All right. So this is what we are supposed to be creative. All right. So add some more water, make the broth, the soup of the gravy a little bit more so that we can share it with our neighbor. Right. That means this is quite, alhamdulillah, this is good in Fiji. The neighbor who wants to always send something to another neighbor, they will make sure they will understand the religion of that neighbor. If that neighbor is vegetarian, so they will only send food which is vegetable. All right, they will not send meat to the neighbor. This is offending. All right, this is interesting. And even this is very normal in Fiji. If a non-Muslim wants to have a party and he wants to invite Muslims to his house, so this non-Muslim will come to the Muslim neighbor and say, can you come and slaughter chicken and goat for us so that we can invite the Muslim neighbors? Okay? So this is, you see, these are the spirit. This should be the spirit of the Muslims. Okay. Ethnic relation in Islam, basic principles. Humanity lives today in a global village, where no people or nation can live in isolation from and indifferent to what goes on elsewhere. Our world is so interdependent and so interrelated that peaceful dialogue has become an imperative. It is wajib now, right? The basic principles of constructing good foundations for ethnic relation in Islam are, all right, so you can see here we are talking about, we are from the neighbor, we started, if you can figure out the structure, the logical flow of our discussion today, we started with the individual, then we went to uh, others, and then we went to neighbor, community, society. Now we are going into ethnic relation. We are broadening our discussion now. All right, so number one, faith in one universal God, right? You see, we sometimes at the end of the day, right, people will say, there is one real God, right? So this should be the spirit. Okay, like the people have their own way to understand things. We don't start attacking them. All right, the spirit of Kul ya ayyuhal kafirun, right? This should be the spirit. Right? So sometimes people they interpret Kul ya ayyuhal kafirun in a very weird ways. All right. So but Kul ya ayyuhal kafirun, this surah is very clear. You have your own things to believe. I have my own. All right. Neither I believe in yours. You don't believe in mine. All right. So you can see this should be the. But it doesn't mean we start disrespecting each other. It doesn't mean now if someone doesn't believe in Allah, that person is not human, right? So this is very important, right? That we are supposed to, if someone is not Muslim, he is still a human being. And we have set of teachings in Islam, which is teaching us how to deal with another human being, right? Allah is one and is impartial toward his creation. He provides for all, including those who reject faith in him or even those who defy him. You see, what we are trying to tell here is we don't play God. No one have the right to play God. All right. So we don't penalize people. Allah is one. If Allah can give the rizq to those who doesn't believe in him, then who are we to break relation and to create conflict with just because he doesn't believe in our religion? So you can see, I don't know, did I say this to you in the starting or not? There was a link, I think I shared with you my talk on the spiritual perspective on COVID-19 last week. I don't know whether you saw it or not. I was talking about the way we teach Asma'ul Husna in IIUM, in our university, especially in the class of Dr. Kabui, when we are teaching about knowledge, Islam and civilization. There's something there very interesting because we took it from Imam Ghazali's way of teaching Asma'ul Husna, is that we see the Asma'ul Husna on two levels. One, on the divine level. Second, on the human level. Because if we believe in Allah with those attributes, that means we as who believe in Allah are supposed to instill those attributes in us on the human level. If Allah provides, we provide because we believe in a God who provides. So that means I, as a human being, I am also supposed to provide to my children, my wife, my neighbor, my friends, right? If he loves, that means as a believer in him, I should be also a loving person, right? He is mu'in, who assists. That means I, on the human level, I'm also supposed to assist if someone is asking for help. All right. So, so you can see these are the important teachings, right? That we forget, right? That we so in Asmaul Husna, this is how, and it's very interesting because actually, if you can teach Asmaul Husna to your kids this way, I think it can solve many issues. So we are only memorizing Asmaul Husna, but we go beyond memorizing. We teach them the meaning, which hadith is telling us about that sifat of Allah, and then we try to ask them, okay, how do you apply this in your life? What is the implication, right? Gratitude, shukur, right? So do we become human beings who we believe in Allah, who appreciates, and now we as a who believe in Allah, we don't appreciate. So that, you see, this is a type of inconsistency in our belief. So so this is the spirit, right? So you can see here, number 3, we are going beyond unity and universality of the core teachings of all the prophets, right? There are many things which are common. You see, Prof. Usman Bakar, you know him, I think. Sorry. There was once when I was studying with him in his class, he used to teach us at ISTEC this the Quranic foundation of Islamic sciences. So he was telling us our approach to non-Muslims is the way we approach is very is not the right way to approach. We approach them by telling them you are wrong. Now this approach is already problematic. But if we approach Christians, for example, and say that the teaching which was in Injil, our Quran and the Hadith is continuing that teaching, we can tell you what is the next step. You see, this approach is totally different approach. You are not insulting them, right? But you are trying to say that actually our religion is continuing the teaching of Isa alayhi salam. Example, love your neighbors. This is in Bible, right? Okay, what they did with the book, the Old Testament, New Testament, that is their story. But there are things which are, we know that those are divine teaching, right? So, all right, what do we do? Love your neighbors. Then you can come and tell all these hadiths which we are discussing today, the Quranic ayah, the Quran is telling us, Prophet is telling us how to behave towards the neighbor. By what do we mean by love your neighbor? Hadith is telling us share your food, offer assistance, offer counseling, right? Good words. So you can see Islamic teaching is continuing that. This should be the spirit when we are dealing with the ethnic, or you call with other the ethnic relationship. This should be the spirit. No? Universal human dignity. Lakat karramna bani Adam. Allah has given human being dignity. No one have the right to disturb this dignity in the name of religion, in the name of any other justification. No one have that right. Okay, so basic as a human being, Allah has given this dignity. We are supposed to maintain it. All right. Necessity of Islamic da'wah, like I said, you see now how you can see what I was saying in number 3. Why do we need da'wah? Because we can provide solution. If we are just going with that attitude of da'wah that I am right, you are wrong, or my religion is right, your religion is wrong, then it will not work. But if I am going with this spirit of da'wah, that actually I have something which can help you, which can help your mental situation, which can eliminate your stress. I have something which can overcome the disunity. I have something which can, just yesterday someone was telling me in Germany, there was a lady who had this inclination of lesbianism, but she knew that she is doing wrong. So this lady, a non-Muslim, was sending her daughters to the Muslim neighbor every day and persuading the Muslim neighbor, please teach my daughters. I don't want them to become like me. And the person who was telling me yesterday is the brother of that neighbor was telling me that like, and you can see people have that level of confidence. All right, so are we providing, are we opening up with that message of Islam in a way bil hikmah wal basira, that people can see that this is the solution, right? And then number 6, la ikraha fid din. There is no compulsion in religion. There is no coercion in religion. All right. So we cannot force people. Okay. This one you can read. Challenges, difference and conflicts of interest among ethnic groups. All right. So we have this social separation of living places, Malay in rural areas, Chinese in towns. These are some of the scenario of Malaysia. But you can anyway. Okay, dealing with different ethnic group, because we are about to finish our time. Dealing with different ethnic groups, some Quranic and prophetic illustrations. So you can see here a good social interaction, right? So this is Mumtahina, verse 9 to 8, which I showed to you when we were answering that question about donation from the non-Muslims. All right, and same goes to us, right? When we sometimes just imagine, there are many places when flood comes, so we are sending food to the Muslim house, and the non-Muslim can see that we are only sending food assistance to our own faith. And so just imagine what kind of feeling that person will have. They'll be thinking, are they not human beings? Right? So you can see these are the places where we fail. Right? So that's why please look at this. As I said, I am opening windows. Your job is to go and find out. So that means now when you go, you and open this. You can find very good notes. If you cannot read Arabic, you can go and find interesting notes in Yusuf Ali's translation. Whenever you see these verses of the Quran, in the footnote, read his notes. You will find, because he has some very nice message. Same goes to other English translations. You can, if you cannot read Arabic, those who can read Arabic, go and find out, go and see what is the tafsir of this ayah. What does it mean? How it can be applied, right? Number 2, uphold the rights of a neighbor. The Prophet ﷺ said, neighbor is of 3 types. Enjoy 1 right, which is non-Muslim, right of neighbor. Enjoy 2 rights, which is Muslim, right of neighbor, and right as a Muslim. And number 3, enjoy 3 rights, which is relatives, rights of a neighbor, of Muslim, and of relatives. All right. So you can see here, Prophet ﷺ is emphasizing, right? And this is number 2. And then we are still continuing. Respect the others, non-Muslims. Once a dead body was being brought in front of the Prophet, and the Prophet stood to respect, then he was told that the body belonged to a Jewish. He replied, you see the reply. It is not a body. Is it not a body? Right? You see, I think we do have this we do have this I don't know about your countries. I think like in Fiji, I think you might be, especially those who in Africa, that whenever a funeral, even of a non-Muslim passing by, all the cars will stop, right, on the opposite side to show respect. Now, this is a very Islamic teaching, right? It doesn't mean that we only stop for our Muslim janaza and not for the non-Muslim. No, that is not the Islamic teaching. So respect for others to the extent that even a dead body. Number 4, communicating with hikmah. وَلَا تُجَادِلُوا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. We don't know how to talk. We don't know how to argue with them. Please do not talk. Then silent, like the Prophet in the hadith we saw, be silent in that case. Okay, pay them a visit if they are sick. So these are all about the ethnic community, a multi-ethnic society. Pay them a visit if they are sick, right? You can see here, Prophet ﷺ used not only to visit Muslim if they're sick, but more than that, he was normally the first to do so. You see, first one to go and visit even a non-Muslim. Okay. With the principles of respecting each other, knowing one's rights and privileges, besides a strong urge from all religions for people to unite and be tolerant, the unity among ethnic group is not a myth, rather it is a reality with real and ultimate ethical values. All right. Okay, from here it is talking about politics. I think what do you call the concept of government and all. So I need to arrange all these slides according to our session, which is mentioned in our course outline. And then I will be sharing all this. Don't worry, it will be soon coming to you, inshallah. So Sheikh Shahran, I think that's all for today.
Thank you.
So we have what? Are we having some?
Oh yeah. We can take around 5-7 minutes.
Some.
I wonder how many pages your slide? 400 pages.
Yeah, that is why I'm not giving that, because it's too and it will be unethical also to give that, because that slide belongs to the university.
Yeah, understand.
So that's why I have to like break it and only and edit it and what do you call, especially tailor it only for this class.
Understand.
So then because we are teaching ethics, so we cannot be doing unethical things. Okay.
There's one question from Mr. Khadija regarding saying salam and how to cooperate with co-workers. How should a woman deal with men, colleagues, and neighbors? Are they allowed to exchange greeting when they meet? What are the limitations? I think the same with shake hand.
Okay. You see now, something very interesting is that there's a universal language. Even my wife was telling me that when she, because sometimes she goes to UN meeting and in Switzerland and all that, it has become a universal language that the woman, if she doesn't want to shake hand, then she will put her hand on her shoulder. The right hand will put on the left shoulder. This is a universal language, and this is being taught to the other people, that if some woman does that, it means she is kind, she is greeting, but her culture doesn't allow her to shake hand. Right now, in terms of greetings, look for greetings which are common. For example, in Fiji we say good morning. Morning, this culture is so alive that morning, anyone passing by, morning, good morning, how are you, right? So you have to see like what you call greeting, which is in a way can show care, right? Yes, it is prohibited to touch the body, and of course nowadays you see now people are talking about sexual harassment in the workplace, right? Just imagine when you look at the Islamic teaching about men and the woman, how they should behave towards each other. If we were following this from long time ago, the question of sexual harassment in the workplace will never arise. Okay, so you can see that these are the things we are supposed to revive, but with hikmah, with okay, this is that's how I can respond. Okay, so anything else?
I have one long one from Sister Ratna, but I think this
so
easy to be theoretical than practical. Yeah, this is normal. It's easy for us to say. Okay, Prof. I think we will invite you for closing. But I just want to share a very short experience of a Cambodian community in Cambodia during Kurban. So they receive a lot of meat. So the neighbors are always looking, and the Muslims are enjoying. So the Kurban meat we cannot share with non-Muslims. So what they do is they add, they buy another meat and they cook it together. So that they can, in that way, they can share it with the non-Muslim neighbor. It's very creative also. Just a short.
Yes, that is very creative of them. Right. These questions will will come on the word form to me, right?
Yes, I will put you.
So I'll be, if I cannot answer all this here, I will see, because I can then kind of share it with you, some of the responses. All right.
Okay,
so
Prof. Give you maybe a longer time for closing. 3-4 minutes.
No, I think that I mean, you mean my closing remark?
Yes, closing remark.
I will close the remark with one incident. Like I think I mentioned last time, I was sent by IIIT by Sheikh Tutunji to Palau Island. Right. So now just I'll tell you the reality. Palau Island, the whole population of Palau Island is 20,000 people only. And 20,000, but it's a Christian country, American territory. Most of the policies are American dollar. And the Muslims are working laborers, 4,000. Now, these 4,000 Muslim workers, what is the big deal giving dawah to 20,000 Christians? It's not difficult, but they messed up big time. How? When I will go and visit them at their workplace, because they are in their workplace, in a mechanic, in a shop, then the non-Muslim boss will tell me, this man, when I am not around in my workshop, he sells my tools to someone else. All right. Even some of the Christian priests complained that how come this Muslim he opened a shop and he's selling alcohol in it. Okay. Amana. So you can see this basic sifat is missing. Right? The basic akhlaq is missing in the working class of our Muslims, which can be the tool, the dawah tool, if only we have that proper akhlaq, amana, justice, not lying, not cheating. They asked me to go and persuade one boss to give break for Jum'ah. I went and talked to that man. I said, brother, can you allow this Muslim brother to go for Jum'ah prayers? He said, I used to give him the time to pray Jum'ah, but he used to go and work somewhere else to earn some extra dollars in that time, and he was not going to the praying place. So you can see these are 4,000 Muslims. When they create this scenario of bad character, bad akhlaq, then it becomes very difficult. We give a wrong message. We create a impression that Islam doesn't have this type of teaching. Right? So this is what I'm saying. Our frontier of Muslim is akhlaq. Our ibadah, our salat, our tahajjud, all this is only we know. Our Muslim brothers and sisters know what is our wajib, what is our zakat. But when it comes to our relationship with the world outside, when we come on frontier dealing with the non-Muslims, with other countries, that frontier is akhlaq and ethics and morality. All right. So that is the reason why in Islam this is very important. Morality and ethics is very important. We need to master it. We need to teach it. We need to correct ourselves. We need to work on our kids from very young age. We have to tell them what is wrong with lying, what is wrong with cheating, what is good about sharing. All these basic things we have to teach from very young age. Right. So this is because this is the last hours together, face to face on this. So I really want, you are teachers, you are lecturers, go out and start with this. I call this Makkah period. The Makkah period of Islam is about teaching akhlaq. The Prophet Muhammad SAW is teaching akhlaq in Makkah, the foundation, right? Teaching them iman and akhlaq. Ahkam and all that came late in Medina, gradual, but the foundation. So we also have to start like that also for ourselves, for our kids, for our families, for our neighbors. We have to use this mechanism, the morality and ethical teaching of Islam. So that's all from my side. And if I have offended anyone, if I have said anything harsh, please forgive me. I don't intend to do that, but sometimes the language usage might be offensive. I would like to apologize. With this, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for such a very inspiring classes. We'll meet you again next session with Introduction to Islamic Jurisprudence that we are talking about.
Inshallah.
Be another interesting subject to see how we use the Sharia and the law connect with our daily life.
Yes,
okay.
inshallah.
Yeah. We'll see you again. We'll see everyone again for the last class tomorrow. Inshallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.